Good evening, and welcome back to the fire, my friend. Tonight's tale isn't about your typical 4th of July. No fireworks, no hot dogs, no freedom. Instead, we're heading into the heart of something older, darker, and hungry. Every 10 years, a carnival rolls into town without warning. No tickets, no ads, no exit. Just lights, laughter, and something waiting behind the Funhouse mirror. So light a sparkler if you must, just don't follow the music. This is the Carnival of Carnage. They said the carnival only comes once every 10 years. I never really believed it, not until I saw it with my own eyes. It was the evening of July 3rd and our town was gearing up for Independence Day. The usual stuff. Barbecues, fireworks, that parade where the mayor waves like a bad actor in a community play. But this year, people were buzzing. Whispers in the diner, at the gas station, on Facebook. The Carnival of Freedom is back. That's what they called it. At least, that's what our parents called it. To me and my friends, it sounded like a half-baked legend. But then, someone mentioned the last time it showed up, back in 2015, 2 kids disappeared. That got our attention. I was with Briar, my best friend, since 3rd grade, and Deshawn and Katie, who were inseparable even though they weren't officially dating. We were walking home after grabbing slushies when we saw the first flash of light. Off in the fields, behind, the old grain elevators. A spark of neon blue and red swirling like cotton candy. The air smelled like kettle corn and burnt wires. There was no sound, no trucks arriving, no workers setting up, just bam! The carnival was there. I swear to God, it wasn't there 5 minutes earlier. We stood at the edge of the field, just watching. Ferris Wheel spinning slow, the tilt-a-whirl jerking like it was being operated by a drunk puppet master. And the worst part? There were people already inside. Shadows moving, laughing, but the parking lot was empty. No one had walked in. No one had driven up. Briar whispered, "That thing wasn't supposed to come until tomorrow." It felt wrong, like something old pretending to be something fun. The rides looked rusted and warped, but the lights were dazzling, almost hypnotic. A banner flapped above the gate in the breeze. It read, "Welcome to the Carnival of Carnage." Not freedom, carnage. We all looked at each other. Even Deshawn, who was usually the first to say hell no, didn't move. It was like we were rooted there. Then we saw him, a tall man in a striped red and white suit. Pale face, black eyes, standing just inside the entrance. No expression. He raised one hand and slowly beckoned us forward. We didn't move. Katie whispered, "Why is it even open tonight?" I answered, though I didn't know why. "Because it's not tomorrow anymore." We didn't go in that night. None of us had the guts. I biked home in silence. I don't even remember saying goodbye to the others. I just went to bed with the image of that man burned into my head. His black eyes, that striped suit, and the way he raised his hand like he was already expecting us. I didn't sleep. By the time morning came, I had convinced myself it was all some elaborate setup. A viral marketing stunt, maybe even a hallucination, something in the slushies. But when I checked my phone the next morning, the carnival was all over the town Facebook pages. Old people were calling it a miracle. Others were suspicious. A few were scared. One comment stuck with me. They say it comes once a decade to collect. At noon, my mom asked if I wanted to go check it out. I lied and told her I was going with friends. She smiled and said, "Just don't stay past sunset. They say that's when the weirdos come out." When we got there, the carnival was packed. Kids running around with fried dough and balloon swords. Parents laughing on benches. The rides still looked old, like they'd been dragged through time and barely held together by rust and luck. But no one seemed to care. The music was off too, slightly warped calliope notes playing just a half step too slow, like the whole place was slightly off tune. We walked the grounds. Nothing bad happened, no blood, no missing limbs. Just overpriced games and flashing lights. The only thing that felt off was the employees. Every one of them looked drained, hollow-eyed, smiling too wide. No one blinked. A man in the popcorn stand stared at me the whole time I passed, his hand mechanically scooping kernels, never breaking eye contact. Katie said she needed to use the bathroom and Deshawn offered to go with her. That left Briar and me near the tilt-a-whirl. The ride groaned and shrieked, but the people on it laughed like it was normal. "You feel it too, right?" she said. I nodded. "Yeah, it feels fake, like we're walking through a dream that's pretending to be fun." Then came the first real sign something was wrong. We tried to leave. It was maybe 5:45, still plenty of daylight. But when we reached the parking lot, it was gone. Just gone. In its place was a row of trees that hadn't been there before. Tall, black bark. Leaves like ash. No cars, no road. Just a new fence behind us. We turned around and the carnival stretched on forever, like the rides had moved while we weren't looking. Briar reached for her phone. No bars, no signal. Just a black screen with the word, "Admit 1." "Guys," she shouted, and Deshawn and Katie came running. That's when the sun dropped. Instantly. No sunset, no warning. Just night. And every light in the carnival flickered on at once. The music changed. And I swear to you, it started laughing. It wasn't just the music. The whole place came alive when the sun vanished. The carousel spun on its own, the horses bucking like they wanted off. Lights blinked in patterns that made no sense. The laughter kept coming, warped, overlapping. Too many voices for too few mouths. I wanted to run, but where? Deshawn grabbed Katie's hand. "We need to find someone, an adult, security, something." "There is no security," Briar said. "I've been looking all day. No cameras, no cops, no one with a name tag." I noticed it too. The employees didn't wear badges. They didn't talk. They just stared, all except one. The man in the red and white suit. We saw him again at the edge of the funhouse. He hadn't moved since last night. Still standing there, tall and crooked like his bones were too long. He raised a hand, same slow gesture, and turned into the maze of mirrors. I don't know what possessed us, but we followed him. The inside of the funhouse was even worse than the outside. It smelled like damp wood and old grease paint. The mirrors were dirty, warped, some cracked. Our reflections looked wrong, slightly delayed, like they were acting a half-second behind us. We moved through the maze, calling out for the man. No answer. Just giggles echoing between the glass walls. I turned a corner and saw myself. Only it wasn't me. The reflection smiled wider than I could, teeth too white, eyes too black. Then it waved. "Did you see that?" I yelled. Deshawn turned around. "See what?" But when I looked back, my reflection was normal again. We kept moving. That's when we noticed Katie was gone. No scream, no footsteps. She was just not there anymore. "Maybe she slipped past us," Briar whispered. "No," Deshawn said. "She was right here, holding my hand. I felt it let go." Then we heard it, an echo of Katie's voice somewhere deep in the maze. She was laughing, but it wasn't her laugh. We started running. Every turn led to another dead end. Every mirror warped us more. I saw myself melting in one. In another, I was a child again. In another, I wasn't there at all. Then I saw him, the man in the suit, standing still in the reflection, even though he wasn't in front of me. And just like before, He raised his hand. I turned the corner and saw an exit. We burst out of the funhouse and collapsed on the gravel, gasping. But Katie wasn't with us. Briar whispered, "We left her in there." Deshawn stood up, fists clenched, looking back at the entrance, but the doors were gone. The funhouse was just a wall of mirrors now, sealed shut. Silent. And somewhere behind the glass, something moved that looked like Katie, only it kept smiling. We should have run. We should have screamed. We should have done something, but we didn't. Deshawn stood there for what felt like hours, staring at the mirror where Katie had disappeared. His jaw trembled, but no tears came. The funhouse stayed quiet, as if it had swallowed a whole and was now digesting. "We have to get out of here," Briar whispered. "There is no out," I said, pointing behind us. Where there had once been the exit path and carnival fencing, there was now a hallway of game booths that hadn't been there before. Each one lit up, each one manned by someone who looked just wrong. Not in a monster way, in an off way. Wax figures that blinked too slow, skin too smooth, smiles that never dropped. A giant sign flickered overhead. "Win your freedom." The booths were all twisted versions of childhood games. Ring toss, but the rings were spiked and the bottles bled when hit. A whack-a-mole setup, but the moles looked like screaming faces. Deshawn stepped toward one before I stopped him. "Don't play," I said. "Don't touch anything." A small voice spoke behind us. "You have to play if you want to leave." We turned. A girl stood there. Couldn't have been older than 8. Wearing old-timey clothes, the kind you'd see in black and white photos from the 1920s. Her eyes were sunken, and her skin had the color of wet clay. "I came here in 1985, she said. "Played the duck pond game. Won a whistle. Thought I'd go home after that." "Did you?" Briar asked. The girl shook her head. "I am home now." And then she vanished. Just gone. Like someone flipped off her switch. A man behind a booth called out to us. "Try your luck. First round's free. Win a prize. Win your life." We ran. The midway warped around us, stretching longer, booths bending and shuddering like they were alive. I swear, one of them reached for me, with a stuffed bear arm. Then the lights went out, all of them. We were in total darkness. And then pop, 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 pop. The sound of fireworks exploded above us, but when we looked up, it wasn't fireworks. It was people, figures made of fire, screaming as they burst in the sky, their faces twisted in agony, their bodies outlined in flame. The sky laughed. We hit the ground, covered our heads, but nothing hit us. When I opened my eyes, the midway was normal again. Lights on, booths calm. But Deshawn was gone. No sound, no footsteps. One moment he was beside me, the next, Briar fell to her knees. "They're picking us off one by one." I helped her up. "We're getting out. We just have to make it to the center." "The center?" I nodded. "The Ferris wheel. It's been running all night. That has to mean something." We started walking. Behind us, the booths closed one by one. Like they were finished. Like we were the last 2 players left. The Ferris wheel towered above everything. It hadn't stopped spinning all night. Slow, steady, groaning like an old beast in pain. We made our way to it, stepping over candy wrappers that hadn't been there before, past stands that looked abandoned, even though their lights still buzzed. The smell in the air had changed too. Less popcorn, more burnt flesh. The carnival was decaying around us. Briar gripped my hand so tight I could feel her nails digging into my skin. We didn't speak. We just walked. The laughter was gone now. So was the music. Everything was quiet, like the whole place was holding its breath. When we reached the Ferris wheel, the man in the red and white suit was waiting. Up close, he'd looked like something that had learned to wear skin but didn't understand how it worked. His face was too smooth. His smile didn't move. And his eyes, they weren't just black, they were hollow. He raised his hand again. That same cursed gesture. Then he pointed at the Ferris wheel. One cart at the bottom creaked open. We should have run, but we were past fear now. We were in resignation. Briar and I climbed into the cart, and the metal bar slammed shut without anyone touching it. The wheel began to rise. From up there, the carnival looked like a rotting corpse. Rides twitching in slow motion, booths bleeding rust, lights flickering like dying fireflies, and on every ride, every bench, every shadowed corner, we saw faces, people frozen in place, some open-mouthed in terror, some grinning like they'd gone insane. Some we recognized, Katie, staring from a bumper car, unmoving, Deshawn, standing on the high striker platform, his eyes completely white. The little girl from the midway, now in the carousel, head tilted at a sickening angle. And then, Briar gasped. "Eli, look." Down below, at the center of the carnival grounds, was a mirror. Giant, oval-shaped, set into the ground like a black hole, and reflected in it was not the carnival, it was us, still standing outside the gates, laughing, drinking slushies, unafraid. "We never came in," Briar whispered. I stared at the reflection. My heart started pounding. I could see myself, see the moment before all of this started. We were still free, in the reflection. That's when I knew the ride wasn't going to end. It just kept going up, and around and up again. I turned to Briar, but the seat beside me was empty. I was alone. The ride groaned louder. The bar across my lap began to twist, pulling me forward. The last thing I saw before I blacked out was the man in the red and white suit, waving, and behind him a new banner being strung across the gate. "See you in 10 years. So, did you enjoy the ride? Or are you still stuck on that Ferris wheel, spinning forever beneath the glow of a blood-red sky? The Carnival of Carnage never forgets its guests, and in 10 years, it'll be back, ready for more. Until then, sleep lightly. And whatever you do, don't answer the calliope when it plays in your dreams. Don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe if you like our stories. Happy 4th, and good night.